Okay, hello, it is Tatch from All Ages of Geek, and I am here with the dev from Astro Duel, or Wild Rooster, which is your studio name. But we're here just to talk about this awesome game, as you can see in the background. I just like to learn a little bit more about what you guys have been working on. So can you tell me about your game?
Sure, yeah. So Astro Duel 2 is basically a mix between Asteroids and Smash Brothers. So we have ship combat, where you fly around, and you basically, the idea is to shoot the ship, and then shoot or run over the pilot. But we also have these platforming areas where you can break in and do sword combat. And we have all these things kind of smashed together in one game.
So I guess my question to you is what kind of inspired you to make this game in general?
Yeah. I played so much Super Bomberman back in the day. I must have been 30 years ago, I'm thinking. On my Super Nintendo was my first time having a sleepover, and we played 4 players, and it was like a 4-player game at the same time, and then here we are later, and it goes up to 6 now. Our Astro Duel 2.
So, I mean, what has been the greatest success? Because as you can see, we have a gigantic crowd here for your game, but what has been some of your success stories with this game that you have going on?
Well, I mean, we just launched 10 days ago. We're on Steam and Switch, and our Discord server went from about 50, 60 people, and now we have over 4,000. It just exploded on launch day. So getting to share this with everyone is so much fun. I worked on it for over 7 years.
Oh, wow.
So finally shipping it is
That's amazing.
it's a huge relief.
So wishlist it. That is my first thing that I'm going to say. Wishlist it on Steam and all the places. So you've been working on this for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I guess, what is it like for you to actually physically see it here now at PAX East or anywhere else, just seeing people play your game? How does that make you feel?
It's super, super grateful. It is a sequel, and so having players come up who are like, oh, I remember it's like, oh, I used to play this as a kid, and it's been so many years that they're like, oh, I can buy it now. I can, so that a bunch of old school players come, and it means a lot.
That's so cool. So you have the first game.
Yeah.
When did that come out?
2014, and we did a spin-off also, and it became a real big hit at schools in the U.S. But yeah, we had over 1 million, 2 million players inside the U.S. They would bring their iPads or iPhones or even their Switches later on to school and play there. And then now this is our big console and overblown sequel.
That's so cool. And I have another question for you. What advice would you give to, I guess, newer game developers?
Oh God, that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, we made something that I think we were really proud of, and we worked maybe too long on it. So, we could have shipped it faster. So, business advice versus sort of chasing what you're most excited about. I'm so thrilled that we're able to ship it at the quality that we did it. But I would say this is actually my 17th game that I've shipped, and we've built up to this by building a lot of smaller games along the way, things that were manageable, and that helped us learn a ton, and not by going big with our first one. So my advice, I suppose, would be to start small and to ship and share and get feedback. So we did a ton of feedback just with this game alone. We play tested with over 100 people just in the local area over the years. And that helped us to basically get a lot of insight about the game, having people touch it. So releasing is a sort of a feedback thing that helps you to learn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it definitely helps people learn about especially marketing and stuff, because that is the killer. If you don't know marketing, it's how are you gonna get your game out there? So I guess what marketing kind of advice would you give to new game devs who might not know about the power of social media and the power of having people play their game? What would you tell someone who's completely I have no idea how to use social media, I just make the game?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm so grateful that we hired a social media person, because I don't know all the skills. It's when you're small and you're trying to do all the things, you try and do the best job you can, but we brought in a community person just at the end, and it was a huge help, and with PR too. That really helped us with things that I don't know. Rely on people who are smarter and more experienced than you is a big help.
And then my last question to you, because I'm just curious for myself, what inspired the name of your studio?
Oh wow, I grew up on a farm,
I love it.
And we we used to raise chickens, more for fun. We had like 30 chickens, but it wasn't really like a working farm. And later I did trying to do a film company and Wild Rooster Films. And so I did a lot of independent film, and that was the thing. And when I came over to games in 2011, it was like, well, let's just keep it Wild Rooster. So,
do you have any upcoming games with like a rooster being your MC?
we don't. But you never know.